Yo, what's up YouTube? It's YT Wake 'em Up, back at it again with another video. The topic of discussion today on this video that you tuned into right now is tipping culture. Women are fed up with tipping culture. Tipping really is not a part of specific other cultures. Like when I went to Southeast Asia, they didn't believe in tipping. So when I did tip them, it made their day. They're like, no, brother, you already paid. I'm like, no, this for you. But in America, it's mandatory. They got gratuity. Everybody know that word, gratuity. That mean they automatically put it on there. You don't got no choice. You got to pay it. That literally just stopped me from going to this place called Basement Burger like last weekend. They said, yeah, they've been charging people a $13 service fee. I don't even know if that's the gratuity. That might just be the service fee. Then you got to pay gratuity too, right? I don't got no problem paying for good service, but everybody don't deserve to get paid if they don't give you good service. That's something that got to be earned, like respect. You got to earn respect. You got to earn that gratuity. But listen, I'm going to let everybody talk about tipping culture and give their side of it, how they feel about it. I need everybody to thumbs up this video so YouTube can push this content out. That's all I'm asking you to do. Appreciate you for doing that for me. If you're brand new to the channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button. Go ahead, get it in so you can be notified exactly when I post another video again. And make sure you ring that bell too to turn on post notifications. Let's get into this.
There is no freaking way. I just went to go get froyo, where you make it yourself. Okay, I'm sitting there with my little bowl and I put my ice cream in and then I move over to my favorite section, the toppings, okay? And I put in some chocolate covered strawberries, some brownies, and then I move over to the little section where you have to weigh your ice cream and it gives you the total. And not gonna lie, y'all, that was some expensive froyo, but anything to make my stomach happy, of course. And so I take out my wallet, pull out my card, and I'm tapping it. And it's not working. So I was like, okay, maybe I can swipe it. I swipe it and it's still not going through. And I was low-key getting embarrassed because like there's people behind me. And the worker comes up to me and he's like, it's not going through because it's asking you to tip. I was like, oh. And he was like, press the bottom right corner. And I was like, the no tip? And he goes, yeah, we don't get those tips anyway. The owner keeps them. We don't get paid enough. I was like, oh, but I'm just here for my froyo, okay? But like, I think it's crazy that these self-serve places are asking you to tip and the owners are keeping it. Like, that makes no sense at all.
I am so over tipping. It's gone too far. And so here's my new perspective, my new strategy when it comes to tipping. Number one, I am not tipping anywhere where they ask me to tip before I experience the service. For example, I went and got a $9 smoothie the other day, and right when I was like ordering my smoothie, I was like, oh, I'll get the breakfast smoothie. Then they're like, okay, it's just gonna ask you a few questions. The answer is no. One, y'all haven't made my smoothie. Two, I haven't tasted my smoothie. Three, I don't even know if I'm gonna like this smoothie yet. Why am I tipping? Like, I'm not tipping. Also, it's a smoothie. It's not like a sit-down restaurant. Like, what are we doing? There's a lot of places that make sense to tip, like restaurants. You experience the food, you experience the service, you're sitting down, you're being served. Of course you leave a tip there. But again, that tip is based off the experience, okay? Same thing, nail salons. You get your nails done, you pay and you tip based off the service, okay? I'm not tipping preemptively. So that goes for coffee shops where they turn it around, ask you questions, ice cream shops, anywhere like that. Ice cream shops alone is just a no for me. You scooped my ice cream for 15 seconds and put it in a cup. Like, no. You guys are paid hourly, like hourly rates. If they're not enough, talk to your employer. But why is that burden being put on the consumers? I will never understand. As a business owner, imagine if every single time you guys bought a planner from my site, it was like, oh, just leave a tip. Leave a tip for what? We hand make all your planners and I'm still like, leave a tip for what? No.
I gotta agree with the people. Every single restaurant shouldn't be a restaurant expecting people to tip. Y'all remember Old Country Buffet? I don't know if y'all had one in y'all state, but Old Country Buffet, they had like a food bar, you know. They put all of the food out, you grab a plate and you get what you want. And you had to get your own drinks too. They had the drink machines out and they had the cups out, all stacked together. You'll go get you a cup, get whatever drink you want. The buster shouldn't be expecting no tip. You're not doing nothing but taking people plates away. That's something you got to do anyway. The restaurant need clean plates for the people. That should be between the busser and the restaurant. At the buffets, you know, the all-you-can-eat restaurants, you got to pay admission to get in. It's damn near like you going to a sports event or something. You got to pay a cover, like you going to the club. So that fee that I paid to get in, that should cover me getting in, me eating, and it should cover the busser too. A portion of that should go towards making sure my eating experience is good. You know, I got a clean table each time I go get food and come back. as well as the table is clean for the next person that's gonna eat. I shouldn't be responsible for that. Now, a restaurant that, you sit down and order, somewhere you dine in at, the people come, take your order, they bring you the food, bring you your drinks, your appetizers, whatever you want, dessert, all of that. They make sure you have a good eating experience from start to finish. They keep checking on you every 10 seconds, like, hey, you all right? You need anything? How's the food tasting? They checking you so much you annoyed, like, hey, just leave me alone. Just let me eat. I'm good. Everything good. Yeah, everything good. Those are the type of places that deserve a tip. That's good service for real. That's good service. You are providing me with an amazing time while I'm here. You making sure I'm good. You making sure I'm straight. I don't want for nothing. You deserve to be taken care of because you took care of me. If you're making sure I'm good while I'm eating, your pocket should be good after I'm leaving.
If you don't have money to tip your server and you go out to eat and don't tip your server, I have zero respect for you.
Paint me out to be the villain here because I'm not. I'm just going to share my opinion. I've never been a server, but I never would because I know the nonsense that they have to deal with on a daily basis and I know I cannot manage it. I automatically respect someone who was or is a server. However, we need to stop blaming the customers and calling them cheap and stingy just because they don't tip, because tipping is not mandatory. It is a choice. 98% of the time when I go out to eat, I tip because my service is at least good. It just has to be good in order for you to get a tip. If your service is bad to the point where I don't want to come back, I'm not giving you a tip. But it is not the customer's job to pay your wage. We need to be taking this up with companies who are not paying their staff enough money. Tipping culture has gone insane in America. A lot of places nowadays add the gratuity to your receipt, so you don't even have the choice to choose how much you want to tip if you want to tip. Blame the wage makers, not the customers.
Tipping culture is out of control. This is a list of people I'm not tipping in 2024, and I'm not going to feel guilty about it. I'm not tipping at the drive-thru. I'm not tipping for froyo. I'm not tipping for Auntie Anne's. Yes, they ask for tips there now. And I'm not tipping on to-go orders. And I know the hostesses have such a huge problem. This is my opinion. And yes, I have been a hostess and a server in a past life. Anyone who sets their own prices, I will absolutely not be tipping you. The whole point of tipping a service professional is that you're paying the business like double or triple what the employee is actually making during that service. So if you're both the business and the servicing employee, why would I pay more on top of that if you're going to obtain the full 100% of what I pay? Doesn't make any sense. If you need a medical qualification or license in order to administer the service to me, I'm not giving you a tip. It goes against the code of ethics to accept tips for these types of procedures.
So I usually never tip when I go out to eat or when I get food or anything like that. I think tipping is not necessary. I feel like it's not my responsibility as a customer to subsidize wages. Like, it's not my fault that you don't get paid enough, so I'm not gonna tip you just because you decided to work in this industry. And fun fact, in Japan, if you tip, they take it as you're belittling them or insulting them. Like, it's offensive to them if you tip. So maybe they should do the same thing here. If I have bad service, I won't be tipping. If I'm eating at a buffet, I won't be tipping. What are you doing? I'm getting my own food. All you're doing is coming around every once in a while and clearing the plates and giving me something to drink. I'm not gonna tip because I'm getting my own food. Thank you very much. If I am ordering to go, I am not tipping. Nope. Zero. Not tipping. If I am at the mall and I order pretzels or I order, Dippin' Dots, no, I'm not tipping either. I'm pressing 0 on that tip screen. You want to know the only people that I tip? Strippers. Because they're giving you a service. They're putting a whole act for you. They deserve that tip and more.
I don't know if this is bitchy, but I just went to Alfred's, got a matcha with lavender, and then I went to Joe's and got a Joe's Club, which is like a chicken sandwich kind of vibe. Let's actually look at it. And every place I go to these days, there's an option to tip. And don't get me wrong, I'll definitely tip if you're bringing me my food, and if the service is great, I'll even tip more than the 18%. But I just feel like if I'm walking my ass in, going to the counter, I'm not tipping. I don't know if that's cheap, but I just don't feel the need to tip if I'm walking up to an establishment. It's just like, you're not serving me my food. Am I wrong? Am I the only one that thinks this way? I don't know. Unless I'm being served, tipping is just out of the question for me.
If it's somewhere that I'm in and out, like I place my order, get in line, they make it and I leave, somewhere like Panera, I mean, it shouldn't be expected or be mandatory that you tip. It should just be like one of those little tip jars, you know? If you want to give a tip, then you can, but the establishment should still make sure their employees are well taken care of financially and making sure they're paid enough and not have it to where people are dependent on those tips.
Who all are we supposed to be tipping? Because I can't keep up with it anymore. And I really feel like I'm getting bad vibes from my Big B coffee shop because I'm not putting nothing in tip. The coffee is already $7. Like, I'm nice. My order is not complicated. So what is the problem with them? I don't know. So the only thing I'm like, maybe they feel away because I don't tip. But like, this tipping culture is insane. I'm not tipping everywhere. I'm not. I tip a server if I go to a restaurant. I tip if I get my hair done. And everybody else, I don't know. I'm supposed to be tipping the drive-thru. I'm supposed to be tipping the Kroger's cashier. I'm supposed to be tipping this person. I'm supposed to be tipping that person. Like, no, I'm not doing it. Y'all need to tip me.
The racist history of tipping. You may not realize that tipping is a legacy of slavery, but that's why I'm here. So let's talk about it. So tipping actually originated in feudal Europe with masters and servants, but then it was brought back to the US by rich American travelers who wanted to seem more sophisticated. The idea was that they would seem more wealthy because they would have extra money to give the worker after they paid their bill. So it was a flex, basically. So tipping became widely popular post-slavery, and despite being freed from slavery, African Americans were still denied wages and had to solely rely on tips. With the recent abolition of slavery, obviously, mostly everyone was still racist, so workers experienced a lot of hardships during this time. They literally got to talk to them however they wanted to and look down on them and give them $1 or nothing and be like, here you go. With racism being the main factor deciding if a worker was going to get paid, this resulted in a lot of unpaid workers who didn't make any money, continuing the legacy of slavery. But there were some people who didn't agree with this. Reformers stated that tipping was exploitive and allowed companies to pay their workers low to no wages at all. Anne Morgan, the daughter of J.P. Morgan, did not believe in tipping and opened a restaurant in 1915 that had a strict no tipping policy. Now, this anti-tipping policy actually found its way back to the origins, which is Europe, and it stuck there. They don't tip in Europe, but that's not the case for America. By 1996, Congress made the sub-minimum wage for tipped workers $2.13 an hour, and it is still the same today.
Interesting. This could be true. I wouldn't be surprised. Me, I like to look into the origin of everything. Why are we doing these things? I don't like to just go with the flow. Never been that type of person. I've been the type of person that I question everything. And every time I question something, the truth is revealed. You seek the truth and you will find the truth. And a lot of these things are actually, a lot of them are rooted in deep, dark, negative, historic practices. Just things we do on a day to day. She could be right. I'm not saying she right or wrong, but it might be some fact to that. Y'all fact check and let me know. Or if you already know something about this, is this true? If so, that changed everything. Because this is not something that they do every single culture. This is not something that they do in every single country. Right? This is something that's Americanized. This is an American practice. She said they don't even tip in Europe. Now that y'all heard that, how do y'all feel about tipping culture? And how do y'all feel about it in general? Despite what she just said. You can even put that aside. If you are a waitress or waiter, or were a waitress or waiter, I know how you feel already. Of course you want tips. And of course you feel like you deserve it. But I do feel like an employer should pay their people more. Even when I worked at a restaurant, I was washing dishes. Mind you, I wasn't a waiter, but I saw the women only making $2.50 back then. And I'm like, that's way too low. So y'all depended on tips. But ain't nobody complaining when y'all get them good tips though. Some days y'all walking out of there with $200-$300 in tips, right? So y'all gotta account for that. When y'all have slow days, y'all gotta think about all of those high paying days. All of those days where you went home with a week's worth of pay in one day. Is YT Wake 'em Up? Drop a comment below. Let me know. Appreciate y'all. Peace.